Hi guys, it's week 4 in our money management or personal finance series of lessons. We are going to look today at how do I keep my money safe. So quick starter like we've done over the last couple of weeks. You just need to have a little bit of a review of what you did last week, which is looking at budgeting. So you've got 3 questions to answer. They'll probably take you about 5 minutes to do. And then we'll come back and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so we've got number 1, what is a budget? Number 2, 2 things you need to consider or you need to think about before you set yourself a budget. And number 3, why is it important to keep track of spending and saving? Okay, so hopefully it's given you a little bit of a memory jog from last week. These are the answers to the questions. So number 1, you can clearly see budget is defined. This is from your fact sheet actually. So you would have seen this before. So a budget is defined as a plan or an estimate of the amount of money needed for the cost of living or used for a specific purpose. So if you give yourself a budget, so just say you're going shopping in Birmingham, I don't know, you're going to Primark or you're going out clothes shopping, you might give yourself a budget of £50 or £100. That is an estimate of what you are roughly going to be spending when you go out shopping. You might be very clear with your budget and say, no, you are not going to go over budget. Others might say, well, that's what I'm kind of estimating that I'm going to spend, although I have got a little bit extra if I need to or want to go over. Question number 2, things you need to consider. You need to consider how much money comes in, so how much you get from your salary, or if it's kind of you guys, or maybe a part-time job, or birthdays, or Christmas money, or any kind of money that you get in terms of maybe selling things. Outgoings and bills, so what things do you have to pay on a regular basis? Are there any things that might come up every 2 or 3 months rather than kind of a regular payment every month? So, what are the outgoings and what are your needs and wants? So what do you actually kind of need and want, which are completely different? You might need things for you to survive, like, I know, heating and water and food, electricity, obviously clothing. You need those. Wants are like desires, things that you don't need to basically keep yourself, or essential items. It's things that you kind of desire, things that you really want to, I don't know, make yourself feel happy, or things that you can consume, or things, it might be things about wearing things, or it might be going to see things, or traveling, or entertainment. They are all kind of wants. You don't need them, and they're not essential to survive. You might argue that, but actually they're not really essential to survive. It's things that actually wants are things that you kind of like non-essential items that you kind of desire. And then time, how are you going to do your budget? Is it every week? Is it every month? Are you going to give yourself a daily budget? Some people give themselves a daily budget for spending on traveling to work and lunches and breaks and things like that. So is it a daily, a monthly, a weekly, yearly? What is it? Okay, give yourself the marks, and then let's move on to this week's lesson. Okay, quick reminder. This is linking back to lesson 2 actually, about banking. So, why do we use a bank account? Most of us have got bank accounts, and it's really either to save. So it's convenient for me to save. It's convenient for me to pay bills. It's easy for me to get paid from work. It's safe. It's protected. It's insured if anything goes wrong. Your cards, obviously, they have an insurance with them as well. So if somebody steals your card, or has some kind of fraudulent activity on it, you are insured with the bank. Okay, so there is a safety net there. And also, obviously, savings, again, making sure that you are allocating little pots of money for maybe specific things, or maybe just things for the future. So that's just a little bit of a reminder from using bank accounts from a couple of weeks ago. Okay, now this week we're going to be looking at keeping your money safe. So one of the main issues that you will come across, and you probably come across them already, are things called scams. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is you need to pause this in a second. I want you to put the YouTube clip on. Now there should be now a document that you get given, or you are supplied with, that will tell you business studies, and it will give you the links that you can go straight onto. So it's a bit easier for you, so you don't type in the wrong address, or it doesn't come up, or it's saying it's unavailable, because sometimes they do, but these should be absolutely fine. I've checked them, they should be okay. So put this in, look at it. It's about 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes long. Write down any notes that you think you need, important things about what scams are, and also write some examples as well. So I'll come back to you in 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, now all of us are open to being scammed. Okay, doesn't have to be anybody that's old. Mostly people think, oh, it's old people that get scammed. Not at all. All of us will see different types of scams every single day. So this is where you need to kind of get your pen. You either type it on the computer or get your pen and write some notes. And hopefully you've written some of this down already from the video. Scams, they are fake offers or companies that are trying to trick people for you to either give them money or give them your personal details. Or actually both. So it's fake, it's not real. You know, when they get your details, they're going to use it for something, and also money. They want to get money from you. They might promise that they're going to give you a product or a service. That's not going to happen, okay? The way in which they are doing it changes all the time because it's become more sophisticated, because clearly if you've got IT specialists looking for these kind of things, they've got to invent new ways all the time to scam people and get people to believe them. Okay, they're normally through emails and text messages, online banking, on your mobile phone kind of apps, can come in the post sometimes, and actually some of them look really, really clear. I had a message one day at school. I've been teaching all day. I think must have been lunch or break, and I got a voice message from a number I didn't recognise, and it sounded really official. And because I know this, I didn't fall for it. However, I can understand that if you got this phone call, you'd be really worried. So it said to me, oh, sorry, the cat's just getting off the sofa. It said something to the effect of, this is the Inland Revenue or HMRC, and there's a problem with your tax. You need to ring us immediately on this number and we need to update your details now. It also said, if you don't do this within 24 hours, you will have a visit from the police. Now, I know that's ridiculous. I have a system where you pay PAYE, which is the payroll in school. They will sort all my tax out, all my national insurance. So if there was a problem with my tax code or any type of tax that I'm paying, HR and finance would have come and found me straight away. And actually, there shouldn't be any problems with it because they're responsible for paying it. So obviously I know that. But if I was somebody who didn't know that, that actually would really scare me. And I'd probably think, God, you know what, I need to ring up and give them my details. So they can be very, very difficult to spot. Write these down, please, in your notes. Okay, so moving on to a little activity. Now, this link that's up here, it will be on the sheet, but if you put this link in, it won't come up with the teacher login like it's done before. This is just a student one, okay? So I've managed to found the student one, so it will go straight to this how can I keep my money safe quiz and test and knowledge, okay? It will probably take you about 5 minutes or so, I think, to do it, maybe a little bit longer. So go onto the website and do as much as you possibly can. Okay, so hopefully you've got 5 out of 5 on some of your question answers, little test and knowledge quiz. Moving on to what do you think if you are caught up in a scam and you do fall for it? And God, I would never say to people, oh, how silly of you doing that. Some of them are really, really realistic. Some of them I think would catch lots of people out. What do you think people should do if they think they are a victim of a scam? You need to get a pen and paper and you need to write down all the things that you think that they can do. Okay, hopefully you should have at least 2 or 3 things. If you've not, what you need to do is you need to add these to your list or write them down if you didn't get them. So number 1, victims should not feel embarrassed, okay? Anybody can get caught with a scam. So anybody can get caught. So please don't feel embarrassed about it. Victims do need to report spam text directly to 7726. So it's free of charge and they will then help and support you and they will find out details of what your scam is and they will try and obviously sort the issue out. Action Fraud is another one, which is a National Centre for Cybercrime and Fraud. You can report it to them if you've been scammed or you're a victim of cybercrime, i.e. on the internet. So if you go to their webpage or type in Google cybercrime or Action Fraud, it will come up with it straight away. Citizens Advice is really good and they will give you help and advice for problems and it's free and obviously they're not going to tell anybody, it's completely confidential, but they'll also point you in the right direction of where you need to get help, okay? And your banks as well. So banks will help and support you if you've been a victim of scams, but they are very, very good about letting you know if there's any activity on your account that doesn't ring true to you. So my bank, for instance, I've had phone calls before and said, did you realise that, or there's been an activity on your account which is a bit out of character. So maybe I'd spent a big sum of money in one particular shop where normally it will be small amounts. They will send text messages and emails if my account has been logged on anywhere or from a different device. So if I've logged on from my laptop, school laptop, it will come up with where it's been logged on, kind of like Melton Mowbray, and where and what kind of device it was. So they're normally very, very good at letting you know if any activity is a little bit strange for you. So they'll report it, and they block things as well. I got something blocked, actually. I can't think what it was. I got something blocked because they thought it wasn't me using it, so I had to ring up and get it sorted out. But they are normally very, very good, and they will never contact you to ask you to give them your details, because clearly they know your details. So if it's your bank, or they say it's your bank, I would not answer any questions. I would then ring the bank back and speak to them. That's the way I would do it. If you've not got these, then please write them down now. Okay, so now we've got all those areas or pieces of advice that we could give victims. There are 3 keywords that I need you to write down. We've got what fraud is, cybercrime, and spam. Now, fraud obviously is a dishonest way to commit a crime. It's taken something of value. Generally, it's money from people, but it can be identity as well. Cybercrime is where you've got criminal activity, which is using the internet, computers, phones, tablets, apps, phone apps, things like that. And spam is text or emails that you get from people that you've not asked for them. So it's normally where they're trying to kind of spread computer viruses. So you have to be very, very careful on opening emails from people that you do not know. So write these 3 down. Okay, so in this activity, you've got 3 different scenarios. So there's one on this slide and there's 2 on the next one. Okay, you need to look at the little scenarios, you need to read it, and you need to give that person advice based on the information that we've just looked at. So, what could they do? So what I would suggest you do is you pause this now, do question number 1, and then you flick on to the next one, which is question 2 and question 3. Once you've done those, we will move on. So pause these now. Okay, so now I want you to watch a couple of little videos. Now, when you go onto this website link, it will take you to a page that's got lots and lots and lots of different videos. You can watch as many as you like, but the specific ones that I want you to look at are the nana scammers, that's what it's called, and the phishing. Okay, so phishing, depends how you like to say it. But there are lots and lots of different videos, but if you go to those 2 for me, I'd like you to read them and listen to them. Write down any information that you think is in addition to the stuff you've got from today already. And if you want to spend a little bit of time going on there, Get Safe Online, there's absolutely stacks and stacks of information for you, loads and loads of different videos. So do that now. And then one of the last activities I want you to do is called Scam Busters. Again, this link is a student link, so you don't need to go in through my teacher link. Again, it's just looking at how to help Liam and his family decide if they are going to be scammed or are they being scammed with certain scenarios. So use the web link and do that particular activity for me. It will probably take you about 5 minutes or so. Okay guys, so getting towards the end, we've only got one more activity to do. Now what I would like you to do is I'd like you to share your advice and what would you give to people, the advice you'd give to people who is spending money online. What do you think you should tell them to do to keep them safe? So you can design like a little bit of a leaflet or a little bit of a poster and telling people how to keep safe and what could they do to avoid scams. Now this activity could take you 5 minutes, it could take you half an hour. It depends how much detail you want to put in it. Okay, so that is your last activity. What I'd like you to do now is once you've finished all those, you need to be thinking about looking at weeks 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Checking that you know all the information. Make sure you've got a good idea, because I will be asking you some more questions next week, which will be week 5 and our final lesson on financial planning. Hope you have a great weekend, and hopefully the weather's going to get a little bit better. So see you soon. Bye bye.